or something, and then
is it true? But this position looks like
this position looks what? Looks good. For
yeah,
white.
maybe bishop before, queen before, only two moves that can give some hope for black to escape this one.
What has happened? We had seen what? Bishop f6, gf, ef.
Just
recently,
recently,
somewhere around here, like move 10.
Yeah.
We've seen like move 10. Bishop f6, pawn takes, and then
c5. That was the move that we
c5. Yeah, we said like possible, but would lead to crazy position. Indeed, it led to.
Yeah,
so,
knight d2.
d2.
Okay, c3 is okay.
So that's what we thought. Yeah, c3.
Yeah, almost the same line, I think.
But
yeah, but I remember that we were calculating the same lines with the pawn on h4,
yeah,
which was obviously my mistake. Comparing to the Daniil's play. c3, pawn takes, knight e4, c takes d4. So in this position, okay, I mean black has an extra pawn, but
wait,
they may fall as.
Yeah, but I have a question. Why didn't he take on f1?
There. Oh, sorry. There, you mean?
Yeah. It's like my feeling is that he has missed the very next move after cd4. Just look at what happened in the game. cd4, bishop b5 check, and this is very annoying because you have to take. Right, you cannot play knight d7. Yeah, you have to take. Pawn takes, and then you do have those nice-looking connected passed pawns, but they will fall one after another.
Yeah, because the c6 square is captured, and
yeah, the knight from d8 is not moving. And the thing is that now white will be able to castle. And that's a huge difference.
It may be a blunder. It may be a blunder.
Yeah, it's like you think, okay, I take on d4, he recaptures, then I will take on f1, or other way around.
Yeah, so if bishop f1 there...
I don't see any, like, intermezzo for white, so he has to take on f1. Don't know what which piece. Yeah, king. Probably king takes, so that to play g3, king g2, and then let's say we take on d4 and try to do something similar to what he did in the game. And white will still have to spend some time in order to, to establish the coordination. Because now I do threaten knight c6 just to protect the pawn, right? So it has to be...
Can I play something weird, like knight e5, but there is...
Knight e5...
I mean, the idea that after knight d7, I have something like knight f7 there.
Yeah, but... Do you have? My question is if you have an answer to queen d5, which attacks
I want to play queen h5.
Yeah, that will lead to some
rook h7.
Rook h. No, I was actually considering to take the knight, but
yeah,
I don't see how I'm getting mated. Like queen e4.
Yes, probably, but I mean,
checking d8. That's
it's
absolutely
very entertaining. Or queen e6.
Absolutely insane.
Or queen e6.
Queen e6 is there. Queen e6 is annoying because you have a lot of threats. King c7 still. Yeah, that's like I resign. Yeah, I cannot really handle this kind of positions. That's super complicated. Yeah, but anyway, the feeling is that this was the proper way to play for black. So first to take on f1, just not to allow the...
Yeah.
But we don't know. Once again,
maybe if you look on the clock, we'll have a better explanation of what is going on.
It's the same as yesterday. Very low on time, Anish Giri.
So it looks like Daniil is outplaying Anish again.
It depends. Let's see the actual position. So bishop b5. Takes, queen 2.
I mean, I'm judging just watching the time spent by both of players.
So queen d5, now he decided to take on d4, to take on c3, and bishop b4. Perhaps is indeed the only move, because white still cannot castle. Should I add short? Because I just thought... I mean, it is crazy, but the position is crazy.
Can I do something with this?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Is it... I mean, it's ridiculous, right? But
there is knight c6 and knight d7. Sorry. Yeah, queen
is hanging.
Yeah,
that's the point. So a check from a3 is needed, I suspect, because
if you take, there is a mate.
Yeah, the queen d8 is mate in 1, plus the queen is hanging.
Check.
So check. King c2
or king d2.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine. I mean, what's going on? It's such a crazy position. King c2, check. King d3.
Maybe
The king is safe.
Yeah, 97 or 96.
If I will say it 100 times, maybe it will become true. King is safe. Knight c6. Yeah, that's terrible. Queen a4, check. King c4. King is safe. No.
Still. Again, maybe castle.
Castle long. Yeah, enough of this. Now, guys, you can imagine how entertaining, how interesting the position is. Of course, yeah, long castle is a bit of too much, I believe. But anyway, if such things are possible in this,
I won't be surprised if if Daniil or Anish will blunder something connected with castle.
With long. By the way, I'm trying to both castles possible for both players. So none of the rooks moved. Yeah, kings didn't move. Yeah, because sometimes you...
After this game, it will be a bit difficult to explain the kids how the grandmasters play. I mean, you have 0 pawns on the queen side and you castle long. I mean, okay, you can explain them that there is some initiative, the position is all tactical, but...
And he does play castle long. He does play castle long. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's getting
That's
very
incredible. Soon we will be able to show. Yeah, from this view we can see. Yeah, Queen a5 was played, so covering d8 square.
That's a good question. How White can reply after Queen e5, because Queen a1 check is possibly a threat, and Queen e3 check is also a threat.
Bishop c3 is a threat.
Bishop c3
Bishop
is
c3
a threat
is
as well.
Quite a serious
And
threat.
maybe something weird like knight b5 may work.
Knight to b5. Wow. Well, actually,
so
that will be. I mean, it already is a very exciting game.
The question for me was what to do after bishop a3 check, because we have to play king c2.
King
maybe?
c2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still very unclear, and maybe black is the side who is risking right now.
Yeah, because I don't see. Oddly enough, I mean, it's like all pieces on the board. Black can barely move. You cannot castle short because queen g4. Yeah, it's like this queen, it's getting you anywhere.
Yeah.
Like in the center, you cannot take the knight because queen d8 is mate in 1. You castling short, it's queen g4, queen g7.
But maybe there black have something like knight a6.
Aha, knight a6. Do we have threats?
Knight b5 is played by Daniil.
Wait, check on d7 in this case. King f8. Knight to e5.
Maybe I can take on a3, can I? I mean, you cannot take with queen because of queen d8
right,
mate.
Queen d8 mate. Yeah, so but then it's just an extra piece, right?
Yeah, but maybe there is something that we missed.
Check on b4,
king b3,
king b3, knight d5, something like that.
I think at least I can just eliminate the knight, just to be sure that I'm fixing the advantage. I can take.
There's like rook takes, and if pawn takes,
just knight d4, I think.
Knight d4
or knight e5.
Knight e5, rook b8. I was
so
a
there is
bit annoyed with that.
Like king c2.
Could be, yeah. It's like knight e5. If black doesn't win, that white wins immediately.
Yes.
Right?
Also, there is no draw
So
in this position.
There's like simply
win
or
lose.
The game cannot really continue for long. Knight d4, white in a way solidifies, right, and can also claim like I have a huge advantage. Yeah,
right.
Well, actually, I sort of like knight d4. Wait,
yeah, I think knight d4 is better.
No, there is a better, much better. Because finally, no, it is, but just leave the knights. Queen d6 was mate in 3. Finally, I realized.
Yeah, sorry.
no. It's like I've started the whole thing moving the knights, but yeah, queen d6 is just forced mate. And
I mean, I'm just winning both rooks, right? Okay, maybe not mate in 3, but I'm winning the both rooks.
You mean yeah. Okay, you still can go to
yes.
Yeah, technically it's not mate, but it's like it finishes the game. Take.
And there is no perpetuals, obviously.
Right, so after knight b5, is there a defense? Because if there isn't, it's just a masterpiece game by Daniil Dubov. So knight, what was our try? Check on a3 and then knight a6, yes. Can he...
Also, maybe we can
Can he
Consider
start
C6.
knight c6? Okay, check takes.
Yeah, check takes and queen a1.
Takes queen a1, king to c2.
Like another check.
Not that many options.
I'm escaping on d3, right?
Yes, you go.
Like check.
Centralize.
And knight d4 at least.
King e3.
And king e3.
King
Yes, maybe there is
check from
b3.
b3, and then you go king e2.
Maybe I'm not afraid to go there.
Maybe you can go to f4
because the
as
eighth
well.
rank
It's
is
once again, yeah. This should be winning for white.
yes.
I mean, as long as white, as long as black runs out of checks, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, as soon as black runs out of checks,
Yeah,
it's just winning.
Yeah, right.
Because white's material up and again,
And
yeah.
again, Giri has only 14 minutes for this very, very complicated position.
That,
I mean,
that's a brilliant play by Daniil Dubov. What can I say? But we shouldn't underestimate Anish Giri, who already saved one
Yeah.
tough position yesterday, where we also were really excited. So knight to a6, yeah, this makes sense. So we do not give a check from a3. So later on, this bishop cannot be taken. So we go knight a6 at once. So what happens now? Now I was also not certain about one more thing. Okay, I suspect queen d7 should be played. King f8, and how does black handle knight e5 in this?
Maybe it's
It's check. Yeah.
yeah. So if
Knight
knight e5, there is
yeah.
check.
It was kind of, king c2. I was hoping for queen e5
Yeah,
and
but
then mate on
obviously there is
d8.
check.
But there is a check from a2, which is very annoying. I cannot go king d3.
Or maybe a4. I mean, the idea that after king b2, maybe I have something like bishop. No,
No,
I
but
don't
wait.
have.
After queen
Yeah,
a2, queen a2 is good enough.
Yes.
I mean, we are not playing for a win with black.
Yes.
Let's agree on this. Queen a2 is good enough. Now king d3 loses to knight c5. So king c1, and then at least a perpetual. There is bishop a3 as well. So
Yes, so black is out of the risk.
black is fine in this case, at least. But yeah, so far the queen is still on d4. But now after knight a6, black actually threatens to take the knight. Black does threaten to go rook c8 in some positions. So I suspect the check is a good, let's say, good point to start with. Queen d7, king f8, and then we have to look for a better move.
But how about queen e5 there?
Queen
I'm not
e5.
sure if I have any threat there after queen e5.
Well, knight d6 perhaps is a threat.
Yes, but maybe you can just play king f8 and not react at all.
Oh, you mean queen e5, king f8 immediately, or
Maybe king f8 or maybe some just kind of
move.
regular move, yes. Maybe rook g8, but rook g8 is a bit...
no? But I thought the endgame is terrible for black. It's like, for instance, let's look at this one: rook g8, knight d6 check, king goes, and okay, I take on a5.
Yeah,
On a5, bishop f5.
and
go.
also mate is hanging. Knight e7, mate is hanging there.
This way is rook g2, and then you
Yeah,
go
but
rook g1. Maybe white is winning by force, but my point was, like, if white doesn't win by force, he might still be much better.
Right.
But it's like, returning the knight back, let's say. Going g3,
I mean,
yeah, knight d6, king f8, exchange on a5, and then, I mean, if I just play g3, for instance.
maybe I'll have some compensation after rook g4.
Rook g4, but then I go knight e5.
Yes, the pawn structure is better, the position
Yes,
is... if there is nothing forced, I mean, white is winning.
Yeah, so my point was like that. I do feel that white is kind of gave away a lot of his advantage, but even if something like this happens, black is not completely out of the woods. It would still be black on the defending side.
So maybe we can try
But
to
of course,
find something else
yeah,
after
of course,
knight a6.
white should look, absolutely, white should look for the way to just finish the game immediately. What are the typical tactical tricks in such positions? The other ones here.
So
exactly.
still when the knight is hanging... And
Wait, do we need tricks? Check. Again, check on d7.
you mean...
No,
this
check on d7.
Again.
King f8. King b1. The move that
Yes,
we
yes,
claim
yes.
to be very useful in every Sicilian.
Maybe
It's
knights-
not the Sicilian. Knight c5, queen d6. Same trick.
Oh,
Queen
mhm.
g6. D6.
Yes,
g3.
d3, yeah.
Mm,
So maybe queen...
Black is running out of moves
Yeah,
because
queen e4 is not possible because of queen d8.
queen d8. Yes, and knight e5 now becomes a serious threat. Bishop c3, I still have queen d6. Does black have a move? Okay, knight e5 is not yet the end of the game because of rook h7, but I'm not sure if black is enjoying this.
Yeah, so after, for example, rook b8, the knight e5 is coming, isn't it?
Knight e5. Yeah, I mean, my knight is not hanging. I can play h3.
But you know, like rook b8 is still not a threat because after
Yeah,
queen b5
that's
we
what
take
I
with
mean.
queen,
That's
right?
what I mean. I can play h2, h3
Yeah.
technically. I mean, my knight on b5 is not hanging. No, but of course, knight e5 should be winning in this case. That's
so queen d7.
I'm impressed, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if something like this will happen, and it's, you know, it's game of the month, game of the year, immediately. That's absolutely brilliant. Well, the queen is still on d4. The queen is still on d4. He's still thinking, but
Yes,
yeah, but what a game.
Yeah, the initial position, this one, right?
Yeah, what a game.
But do we need to find anything else? I mean, like,
No, I
we're
mean,
quite satisfied with this solution.
yeah. So far, queen d7, king b1 looks like a very, very tempting. Yeah. Okay. Let's one more time check, because as I said, we are getting carried away by the beauty of this idea. But yeah, maybe black shouldn't go down that easily, right? Wait, bishop a3. It's like a weird. It's like a half a move.
Yes,
yeah?
yes, yes.
But I do create a threat of check
yeah,
on b4, right?
Yeah, and also if knight e3, then rook b8 probably, right?
If knight a3, yeah, but the hope
Yeah.
was to go rook b8. Yeah, the hope was to go rook b8. Because obviously I couldn't take the knight because of mate on the back rank, but rook b8, and who knows?
Yes, I mean,
King
this is not what
a-
Daniel wants to calculate there.
Yeah, this all of a sudden black is starting with all those checks. Bishop a3, but maybe we don't need to take. Bishop a3, okay, queen b4 is a threat, let's go rook d4. So that there is no... So we are playing for Zugzwang.
At some point.
Rook d4, rook b8 though. Now there is rook b8 and the knight is hanging with a check. This is annoying. This is annoying.
Okay, bishop a3 is very tricky. Is there anything else?
Wow. Rook d2? I mean, once again, I don't believe, and perhaps people at home who watch us with, you know, with the engine running, or
Yeah,
they are laughing at us,
laughing at us.
but really, but that's such a complex,
it-
such an interesting position. Rook d2
Yeah,
here?
you're generating very nice ideas. Rook d2, and the idea that after
Rook
rook
b8,
probably
rook
knight
b2, rook b2.
maybe this one.
Knight d4 as well, but I thought rook b2 isn't bad, by the way. It's like you can't take. I don't know if you can do anything, because now this queen d6, if it ever occurs, it also threatens.
Yeah, but maybe rook g8 there, no?
Rook d8. Yeah.
Not so clear. My idea
is
was to
clear.
play rook fd4
Knight
to
f
take on a6 somewhere.
knight e6 is a threat now.
But
yeah.
not sure, because king
Yes,
g8 there,
king
and
G8.
I'm capturing... I mean,
The pawn, but not
Yeah,
the... Yeah.
so, but the
No,
question
it's-
is if black has something useful in this exact
Yeah, it's
position.
like,
I mean,
yeah,
like-
what is the move for
yeah, yeah.
King
So-
g8
So,
by himself. Yeah, king g8 here.
yeah, firstly we
maybe.
were laughing, like, saying that we're playing on Zugzwang, but probably we're not very far from truth.
Yeah, that's right. It's like it's not easy to play. Now,
And like, and there we can try maybe rook g3 and like queen b4, king c2.
yeah, but queen b4, rook b3 as well.
Rook b3,
Rook
yeah.
b3 and then to g3.
And why we didn't play rook b3
rook
immediately?
d3
Yes.
because the knight was still on f3. That was.
No, I mean in this. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
we started with rook d2.
Yes.
So if we kind of return back a couple of moves, bishop a3. I mean, first black has to spot bishop b3, bishop a3, creating queen b4 threat. Then I'm still not sure if
Like maybe we can play rook d3 there.
rook d3 there, and then if it's a check, we just go to c2. Wow, that's nice. Queen b2, we go to d1,
Yes.
and we go after more checks, we go to e2. Now queen d8 is a threat. Yeah, maybe rook d3. I mean, if it works, it just wins.
Yes, it wins because we make a threat. We
Also attack the bishop.
The bishop is hanging, right? Maybe still
5 is always the. rook to b8. But then we go knight d4. Your idea?
Yes. So
we
it's
go
like kind
knight
of
d4.
transposition. But maybe we gain a tempo because the king is on a8.
Yeah, that's like improved version because the rook is on d3, is not hanging. Queen b4 is not there. Knight e6 is currently a threat. I mean, black might be still alive somehow. Rook h7. It's like I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's terrible. It's outright terrible.
And maybe something simple like queen e7 and 7.
And here you start to collect stuff.
Yeah, but rook b5 there maybe is.
Yeah, wait, but why would you take rook d1? Then just play
rook d1.
one more.
Centralizing.
Yeah, rook d1, then rook b3.
And all of a sudden, whites are quite solid in this position. Even
yeah, the king is safe on b1.
yeah, yes. king is safe.
The king is safe on b1. So looks very promising. I mean, and not only that, but it looks, as I said, it looks like a masterpiece. If everything is correct, right? If this works for white, that's just an outstanding game. Queen to d7 check. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, let's see. Queen to d7 check. King f8 and what did we say here? King b1. Yeah. Check, king f8. We said king b1. Maybe it's not needed. Maybe there is more clever move. But not really. Not really, yeah. King b1 is nice.
Yes, it is.
And once again,
maybe we can start with rook d3 instead of queen b1. King b1, sorry. But is there something like knight c5?
Queen d6 again. It's always queen d6.
Ah, it's always queen d6.
So the knight from a6 cannot move. So it could be an alternative.
It's like rook d3 immediately, right?
Rook d3. But wait, but then it's a check from a1.
So I go to c2.
And we lose
like f6.
The most important
yes.
part in our position. We were sacrificing rooks, knights, but we don't want to lose the pawn on f6. There's queen f6
yeah, and maybe still like it's very unclear. Okay,
no,
but
then you know it's the other king which is attacked. Now I go king g7 and then I'm starting.
Or maybe knight c5 and king g7.
King g7. Yeah. No, that's something you don't want to calculate with white.
Obviously.
So if you have a move like king b1, which
just
keeps it safe and sound,
it's very stylish move.
That would be really an amazing game. Okay, but let's not forget we have 6 more which are in progress. So let's.
Yeah, maybe I can have to.
King b1. Yeah.
No, it is. Just
yeah. So everything. Yeah. So we guessed a lot of stuff. Look, king f8, queen d7, king f8, king to b1. Let's show it one more time. Yeah. So king f8.
Knight a6.
Check on d7. And then king b1, calm move. Yeah, guys, don't try it at home. It's like castling long to the wing where you have no pawns whatsoever. Your opponent has a lot of pieces, yeah. But really, brilliant play. King b1, bishop to a3, rook d3. A check, right? King goes to c2. Another check. Check from a4.
I like this triangle, like king b1, king c2, and
check from a4.
Yeah,
king
d2 there.
Bishop b4, king e2, and king g8. So that the king...
so queen d8 for the threat, so king g8 just simply...
King g8, wait a sec, so what does it mean? Knight e5, which is the move that Daniil Dubov has played. Isn't it just the end? Rook g3 is a threat of... Okay, queen f7 is threat of mate in 1.
Yeah.
That
rook g3 is threat of mate in 2.
First thing is first. Rook h7... Well, technically rook h7 keeps him alive.
Okay, maybe... Yeah, queen d8 is not working because of take.
Yeah, the bishop is on b4, right? Rook h7 kinda keeps him alive. Because...
Maybe I can simply play rook c1, you know, like...
Yeah, that was my thought. Like, my position is that good that I can spend time, you know, improving even further.
Rook on h7 is not the piece. I mean, like, if there is nothing forced for black, it's just lost because of this rook. I mean, it's quite easy to evaluate this kind of position.
Yeah, there is nothing for black, and there is something for white as well. Yeah,
so
because at some point white will, you know, just like go rook g3, then take on f7.
Yeah, and knight c5 falls because of queen d8.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely hopeless. Knight e5. So let's try to find the way for Anish. Maybe there is still something. What happens if black starts with a check on c2?
Yeah, that's
because king f3 at least covers the third rank, so there won't be a check from g3.
And there rook h7.
Rook h7. I'm not sure if it helps black great deal though. You can still go like rook
d1.
You know, rook d1, g3, king g2. It's just it's not only that white was like winning by mating black king.
You know, like also rook a1 is.
Rook a1.
I mean,
attacking the knight,
provoking the knight c5 and queen d8.
Queen d8. Yeah, that's absolutely winning.
Maybe there's something like bishop c5, but I don't believe that this can be saved.
There shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. Yeah.
Yeah, I think at least like knight d4. I mean, and still, like, it looks like black is rook down. So there is something new on the board.
Queen c2 check,
queen c2, so we're quite good in predicting moves in
queen c2
crazy
check.
Positions.
By the way,
king f3.
King.
Yeah, probably z1 d1 because
does it ever?
Yeah, or you
like king f1. I mean, I was looking at king f1 as well. Not sure if it makes sense. The keeping rook g3 option.
Yes, but I mean queen c1 check.
Queen c1 check, rook d1.
Like queen f. Yes, the mate is hanging. Sorry. Yeah, queen.
Yeah, the problem with king f1 is that you still go rook h7 and there is still no mate. Because yeah, no, king f3 is good enough.
I believe Daniel will play king f3.
What are we missing? Can we? Well, there is rook f8. Okay, so which is not that it kind of improves the position great deal, but it's sort of less awkward.
At least not loses immediately.
Yeah, it is less awkward, and it also kind of creates a threat of knight c5.
Yep.
Right? Because there is no longer queen d8.
Maybe I can just do something like this, creating another threat, forcing to play h5, for example. Yeah, king f3 is played, and yeah, rook f8, maybe queen d4, h5, and queen f4. Isn't it a solution?
Very likely. Rook h7 still. Not
So
that I believe white's position is black's position is good, but
yeah,
I'm just trying
rook
to
h7, and there maybe I can
finally bringing. Yeah, but just go rook c1. No.
Yeah, rook
Just
c1.
Rook c1 with a tempo, and then there should be some mate,
or at least some winning the material.
No, that's it. Can't be right. So rook f8 was played by Anish.
Also, there's something like knight g6
Knight g6,
but there is something like knight c5, and we have to calculate it.
There is knight c5, yeah. That's like if you want to win the brilliancy prize, then you look for the moves like knight g6, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, you just want to be solid, and then the game should be won.
In this kind of tournament.
Yeah, you probably don't care about brilliancy prizes all that much. I don't know if
but
there is any.
But by the way, it may come just by itself. I mean, after this game.
Okay, queen d4 one more time.
Up to now, Dana is playing just.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant.
Just a legendary game.
Okay, queen d4. Is any other move than h5?
Maybe I can start with rook h7. I mean.
Once again, hiding this way.
Yeah, like rook h7. I can make a check. And you just simply go king h8.
Check, king h8.
And probably there's nothing forced there.
But then you shouldn't give a check then.
Yeah, so maybe after rook h7, I have some time to regroup. Maybe I can try with rook a1 there. I mean, I provoked you to play rook h7 because on h7, obviously the rook
That's what I was trying to say. That black's position is so terrible that in this position, if I want to trade the queens, queen c4, that apparently leads to a winning endgame. I mean that's like tenth thing that you want to do with white. You never ever looking at exchanging the queens, but if this somehow happens, you are probably still winning.
Yes.
So just to give you the idea how.
Yes, the only question if black can
attack
the f6
probably
pawn.
You don't do this.
If not,
you don't do this. You win somehow.
So then I played rook d1.
Rook to d1.
One of the ideas that we were considering.
Yeah, rook d1. That's cool. White to move the queen away if you can. Yeah, rook d1. And then g3 and king back to g2, making it safe.
So after knight c5, it's probably queen d4 and the bishop is hanging.
Wait, let's be brilliant. After knight c5, it's queen takes. No,
f7.
It cannot be, it doesn't work.
Of course, I was considering
it doesn't work. Yeah, that's a pity. h5, played by Anish Giri. So now
it's knight c5 is probably a threat. I'm not sure, but looks like.
Yeah, there is a feeling like in this position,
black
is not allowed to have any threats. Knight d4, by the way. Knight d4 attacking the queen, going to f5 then, or somewhere, or taking on e6. There is always a feeling if I win a material with white in this position, it's kind of shameful because you want to mate your opponent after such a game.
No, but knight d4 is still I mean, I can't say this knight d4 is ugly. I mean, knight d4 is quite.
That's like
kind of
once again practical move that you bring more pieces to the king. So I mean, just in order not to blunder anything.
So I mean, in this position, if black, I think queen c8 is maybe the only move that we should.
Or c7, yeah.
Or c7, yeah, c7 probably. But even there.
Queen c7.
First of all, maybe something like knight e6.
Knight
e6, there's queen e5.
Knight c6. No, somehow, yeah, exchanging the queens is not
but
what.
Still,
what
I mean,
I'm
like
planning.
we can take and suddenly play king e4, with an idea to play rook g3 check.
Rook g3 is coming. Yeah.
Maybe you should continue with h4, but in a position like this, we should.
g4. Yeah. Oh, okay. Now I'm very happy. Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, you know, I'm very happy with this. So black
it's maybe not plus 15, but I think at least it's like plus 2.
Should be much more, I believe. Okay, so let's wait for Dubov to come up with a solution. I believe he will find not only the clean one, but the stylish one as well. The whole game suggests that he's really in a good mood today. h5. So how can we get to black's king?
Or if we really need to get it. I mean, we just can start to collect the pawns.
Yeah, but
forcing some simplifications, trades.
It feels a bit.
I mean, like black is almost rook down. Rook h8 is not playing. Maybe we can try to get something out of the board.
Can I still try to be like try to win on a spot? Knight takes on f7. Okay. Rook takes, and then queen takes e6. I mean, you have to take on f7 because knight h6 is a threat. That's what I thought.
So if rook h7, there is knight h6.
Knight h6, king h8 though, and maybe
still unclear.
Again, yeah. Again, no. I probably shouldn't start it. Yeah, if rook f7, queen e6, I was kind of hopeful that rook d8 takes on f8. The other rook to d8 will be decisive, and it might be.
Maybe.
It might be, but still, after knight f7, rook h7, you don't want it normally, unless you see the clear, like this is mate in 3, by force. But other than that, you don't want to complicate the position unnecessary, because it's not only us in the studio, but of course Dubov perfectly understands that if he plays like few calm moves, the position is completely winning.
I think Danny is calculating something like queen d. No. So what was the line we were? Knight d4, of course, maybe.
Yeah, we were looking knight d4.
Top choice up to now.
Wait, is it? How about the greedy play?
Queen a7. What about bishop c5?
Bishop c5. Queen f2 is an unpleasant threat,
Yes,
I have
queen
to
f5.
say. Now, queen f2 is annoying. I mean, it's
So
like,
I mean, like,
I'm
yeah.
not very much annoyed about the fact that queen is hanging,
yeah.
because the plan was to go rook d8.
Yes, yes.
But you take on f2. I mean, that's not fair. Now, queen a7 is once again, it's silly.
Yeah, but our
Yeah, 94 wasn't bad.
94
yeah,
move
94. Queen goes, queen c7. We said. Let's do it this way. 94, queen c7, and then let's go knight c6. Knight d to c6, obviously. Knight d to c6. So if black wants to take, let him take by himself. Like
yeah. So now
knight
we
takes,
made a
rook
threat,
takes, and
right.
then everything is still hanging. And the king, despite the fact that queens are exchanged, the king on g8 is not
So we
safe.
can claim that black is lost there.
Knight g6 is a threat.
Right.
Still. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, this should be. I mean, if this is not winning, that I don't know what is.
I think Daniel will play in 84. I mean,
Wait, the rook is on
sorry.
d1 already. Yeah.
h5 and yes, 10 minutes more.
5 minutes for Giri, move 29.
29.
Yeah.
So 5 minutes for 11 moves. I mean, I just don't consider 30 seconds increment as an increment, because you have to spend some time writing the moves
and making a move. Yeah, some people would not agree with you, because Alex Grishuk, one of the players here, he spent like half of his life playing on 30 on this 30 seconds per move rate. Yeah, it's not to relax. This is what is important now. And once again, for those who
I think 94 is at the same time it's logical, because you have to put your pieces
like closer and
closer
to
to the king. Yeah.
So what I wanted to say, guys, for those who might be new to chess broadcasts, who are following chess, like not all the time, but just from time to time, so you might think, okay, Anish Giri is one of the top seeds, and he's taking beating from like young guy from Russia, exceptional talent, Daniil Dubov, and he is current world rapid champion. So don't be fooled by those numbers, by ratings. Queen d4 instead was played, and we had something in this case. We weren't sure
I
about
think
queen d4.
my idea was to play knight c5. Oh no, sorry, not there. Maybe bishop c5, queen f4, and rook h7.
No, bishop c5,
queen h4.
queen h4 you have to go, because f2 is hanging.
Queen h4.
Bishop c5, queen to h4, and rook to h7.
Yeah, rook h7, yeah.
And you are saying that...
Or rook h6, by the way. Because after queen g5 I have rook g6, which is not so clear. And at the same time I'm creating a threat of taking on f6.
Rook d1, d2.
Solid one.
No, I mean, it's like it doesn't change all that much, but it changes an important factor. My f2 is no longer hanging.
Yes,
so
rook 1 d2 is an argument, obviously.
Rook d2, queen goes,
but it doesn't matter.
And then more or less anything.
Yeah.
Knight d6, I don't know, queen g5.
Okay, so
whatever you like, yeah.
Another option to play.
Rook h7 is
more solid.
Perhaps like more resilient, yeah. And wait, rook d8 here is
queen
it possible?
f5 check.
There is a check from f5.
But yeah, check is not a mate, but I have to go queen f4 there, but probably didn't.
Okay, rook h7 played. Yeah, Anish, of course. I mean, when it comes to only moves,
but with the bishop on b4, I mean, just rook h7 immediately.
Bishop c5 wasn't played. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rook h7. Okay. Still, yeah.
But I think that after queen h4, there is no better move than playing bishop c5.
Could be, but honestly, I still like our line more, to be honest. Knight d4.
Yeah, I think that
Because
it was, at least it was clear. I mean, we win some material immediately.
h5, yeah.
Yeah,
h5,
h5, and there knight d4.
d4. There was one little concern though. Queen c7, knight to c6. Yeah, that's what we said.
Yes. So, but maybe there is something else, but I don't see. Okay, I can play queen a2, but okay, it might be something there, obviously.
You mean knight queen a2, knight g6. You go rook h6, yeah, and pretend you're still alive,
Well,
which might be right. Knight f8, rook f6 check, f2 is hanging, then you take on f8.
so it's still not so clear, right?
D to c6. Yeah, I mean, once again.
Yeah, but how about something like, okay, if knight c5 is a threat, maybe I can try some. Oh, knight queen d5 with queen a7. So it's still playable.
This is the moment where one needs a chess engine, because you check, you run it, it says plus 15, and you relax. Now you feel like it's plus 15 for white. I mean, which translates, I mean, from those of you who doesn't know what those numbers mean, it's the computer evaluates the positions in pawns. Yeah, so plus 15 means extra 15 pawns for white, which means absolutely winning position. And we do know, both of us in this studio, without using any engine, we do know that this position is completely winning for white. It's just that we can't really find a clear path, and yeah, that's what is running through a player's mind as well. So that sometimes you, by the gut feeling, you know that there is something. And here,
just for instance, what to do there? I mean,
in our line, yeah.
Yeah.
Knight
So
d4.
knight d4, queen e2. Maybe this is the answer to the question why.
Knight d to c6 now, or there is some problem with that?
I mean, like knight c5.
Should be something. Knight c5.
Maybe there is some beauty, like, no, queen f7 is
Queen f7 still doesn't work, yeah.
too artful.
No, but knight c5, I mean, at the very least, I can give a check on e7 and then move the queen.
Yes,
so that
okay.
You cannot. But once again, we are talking like this should be winning and this should be winning. Obviously, Daniil is looking for like the most precise, the most straightforward line. Queen d4 played, rook to h7, queen f4. To bring in this queen to g5 anyway. Planning for rook d8 perhaps as well.
Or planning to play king g3 and king h3.
King g3, king h3, and then bring the rook. Yeah. Yeah, as we keep saying, the black's problems will basically never go away in this game. Like in order not to win this. Meanwhile, Daniil Dubov wins and advances to round 2. So
brilliantly. So, but let's see how it happened.
Being underdog before the match, at least on the classical rating lists, he dominated the match. We can say he was much better / winning yesterday. He let it slip, but today it was just a masterpiece game. Okay, last moves. After rook h7, knight d4 was played first, right?
Yeah, so rook h7, no, queen e4.
Queen f4.